Good morning, everybody. Welcome to TLDcast. It's Monday, and today we have a TLDC playlist. We're talking about virtual instructor-led training. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Monday. It's the greatest day of the week. It's the day we start off work because we just came off a great weekend. I hope everybody's doing well. We have a lot of people joining us today. It's going to be a good time. We're talking virtual instructor-led training, but we have a bunch of other little things I want to talk about real quick first. We are the TLDC Training, Learning, and Development Community. And we also do a chat, TLD chat. It's a Slack group where we hang out and talk about this stuff for 24/7. If you need any sort of help engaging, you got any questions about the work that you're doing in training, learning, and development, that is a great place to go and get some help on your projects and to just engage and share everything that you know about training, learning, and development. But we are also here every single day, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time, and 4 p.m. UK time. Today is just a special day because we're doing a playlist, and this is 4 hours straight focused on one special topic. Today's topic, virtual instructor-led training, and our opening guest, Kassy LaBorie. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
So good to see you, and very happy and excited to have you on as our kickoff guest for this playlist. Thanks for agreeing to hang out with me.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me to be here and for letting me go first. It's exciting.
Yeah, we've got, well, otherwise you'd be on a plane, and we couldn't do it. You know, their streaming is not good in the air.
Not yet.
So we get you on here and kicking us off with this fantastic topic. It's most popular. We learned about what everybody wanted in the community, asked them what the hottest topics were. XAPI was first. For those of you that do not know, this is our second playlist. Our first one was XAPI, and now we're doing virtual instructor-led training because it's what the people wanted. So we're doing everything we can to support the community. So you've been on before, and so everybody should know who you are, but maybe for those new folks who don't know who Kassy is, maybe just give us a quick intro.
Sure. Thanks for the compliments in the chat too, you guys. I'm going to blush. The blush is going to get even more blushy. Hi guys, I do a virtual classroom training, and I kind of fell into it by becoming a WebEx software trainer a long time ago. And then I fell in love with it. And now I help other people figure out how to do this and not hate it, how to make it fabulous instead of drab, hence the topic today. But that's what I do. I work with organizations all over the world, helping their training teams learn how to do this. You know, most people who work in training, we love what we do. And then our organizations, our leaders come to us and say, hey, we bought WebEx, do it like this now. And we're like, I hate that. You know, where's the people? Where's the people? And so how do you make this something that you still want to do? Because certainly it's where we continue to go.
Yeah.
And so how do you do it in such a way that it, you know, that it works and that you want to keep doing it and that you get to continue loving what you do as a trainer.
Yeah, I think it's a great, online virtual training, I think is a great transitional step for folks that are traditional stand-up trainers that work in the classroom, and all of a sudden they've heard for many, many years now about this e-learning thing, and they worry about it, and they're afraid, but what happens to me and my job? Well, obviously we figured out very early on in the game that none of those jobs go away because we still need to be face-to-face. We still like to hang out and chat with each other and talk about this stuff in a very real-time way. But so all of these tools came along and we realized, oops, but it's different. It's a little, trying to figure out how to do this kind of stuff is different. So we do need to kind of look at things differently and figure out, okay, what's the skill set that a trainer needs to transition from the classroom to the virtual classroom. So that's why we're doing this today. There's a whole lot of different things going on. Maybe you can give us a little bit of your sort of take on that? Just sort of set the stage for us.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's like, you guys, by the way, I'm addicted to looking at chat. And so if it looks weird that my face looks like this on camera, it's because I'm watching what you're saying, which I love, and keep it coming. They say that, a lot of people that I've worked with say that they become better in-person presenters and trainers after learning how to be better online. And I think that's so cool. And I think that probably the main reason is because when you go online, you need to figure out how to make it about your participants rather than continuing to make it about you or make it about the technology that seems to be in your way. It's like I'm forced to figure out how to make it about you. And I have to figure out how the tool is going to let me do that. And it's like I have to get off the stage. And so it's like we all know that in learning. And it came through in the chat. Like we know not to be the sage on the stage in learning. But yet when we do a webinar, that's what we do. And, in all fairness to you, it's because of the technology, right? Like if I touch it, it might break. So I'm not going to touch it. You're all here, and I'm just going to hurry up and get it over with because I'm hoping you'll have questions in the end, and then pretty soon it'll be done, and I'll be able to go because this is awful, right? So
that's not the way it's going to be.
Another thing is too, guys, remember, for those of you that do train and deliver training in person, do you remember the very first time you did it in front of a real group of people? Okay, yeah, you do. Do you remember being afraid that everybody was looking at you? Okay, now fast forward and you're doing it online and no one's looking at you and now you're freaking out about that. Right? Yeah. They might be looking at your screen, but they're not actually seeing you. You're not seeing them and now you're freaking out. And so what do you do about it? It's scary. Yeah, the camera actually scares me too. You know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to put my slides over here and I have some things to show you today. Because I have pictures of things that happened in the virtual classroom. And if I put my slides over this, I can't see myself on the camera, and I actually much prefer that. Although I kind of miss seeing you smile over there, Brent.
What, you don't see me right now?
No, you know what I've done is I've put my slides over my camera, and then all I see is the chat and the slides. Feels good to me.
I wonder, if I focus like that, just so people can see the screen better?
Yeah. No, I'm fine. I'm happy. In fact, I'm so excited because what I want to do is I want to reveal what we can do in the virtual classroom to take it from DRAB to FAB. Like you said, you can't engage people, Keith, right? Lots of crickets. You're afraid of the technology. Those kind of things are weird. And so let's reveal the secret to everything before you leave today. And in fact, I even have, look, I have the secret in a real live envelope here too. And so what the heck is that? And let's just look at it. And so that you already saw that. So first off, why don't we define what virtual classroom even is? Because Brent, you mentioned like e-learning, and we have a lot of like online learning. What even is it? Yeah, it's an echo, Paul. But let's type in the chat. You guys, what is it? It can be interactive.
Everything.
What do you call it around your organization? Is the chat still moving for you, Brent, or is it just me that?
Yeah,
there it is.
Slowed down a little bit. You made them think, so it kind of made them scratch their heads.
Okay, virtual training, interactive, online workshop, VILT, or virtual instructor-led training, synchronous.
Ah, yes.
Synchronous, yeah. Blended. They're not allowed to say classroom. I know I've worked for organizations too. My most recent organization, I used to work at Dale Carnegie. And in fact, hey, shout out to Jackie Regan. I see you're here, Jackie. We didn't call it classroom either. We called it live online, actually. So, okay, there's a lot of different terms for it. And so virtual classroom is when you, like kind of what we're doing today, you have technology that's bringing people together live. And then we're going to use these live tools within this technology to learn. So it's not recorded. You're not here by yourself. You're all actually here. You blocked out this time to be here together. And so we're going to learn together. Right. And so sometimes virtual classroom does get called e-learning, right? And sometimes it gets called online training too. But then online training is also self-paced. And so it gets a little bit confusing what we're talking about. In fact, I recently did a talk, you guys, where they hired me to come in and talk about virtual classroom. And the people that were there all do just asynchronous learning. They all work at a university. And so they needed none of what I was talking about. And they wanted me to tell them how to do asynchronous stuff. And I thought, there are so many people, a ton of you here today that could have been doing that talk instead of me. And so they were like, what? We thought online training was that. And so it's important to get it straight. What do we mean? And so with virtual classroom, we're all live here together. And then that brings up the whole thing about, well, then I'm not supposed to make it like a recording and now people are not engaged. And we get into this whole thing about lectures and webinars getting a bad name. And so what is it about virtual classroom that we're doing wrong? Why aren't people engaged? And thank you for continuing to type in the chat. What have you seen, Brent? Like, what have people been saying when you have conversations? How come virtual classroom isn't really working for people?
Yeah, well, a lot of time, like you alluded to it earlier, people like to just tune out. It's easier to tune out because you may be in your home office or whatever, and you can turn off video and the teacher can't see you. When you're in a real classroom, right, it's much more difficult to tune out because you have your peers gathered all around you and the instructor's right there and able to see the whole room. The instructor can't see everybody in a lot of cases, and so it's easy to tune out. And it's a lot easier to tune out a training that's in the virtual space like this than it is being physically in the classroom. And I think that's the trick. It's that, how do you know, or how can we keep people excited enough to be engaged and not check their email?
Yeah, and it's like, you guys have it. Like, there's all kinds of things going on. Quick question too, Brent, are my slides still showing?
No, they just went black. Oh,
are they there now?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Good, thank you. All right. Yeah, and what happened, guys? Like, when you teach classes in person, how many people are there? If you guys were teaching people how to do skills-based learning, I'm not talking about you're doing a big presentation for a keynote. I'm talking about you're teaching people how to use software, or you're teaching people how to be better communicators. Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah, 30 to 50 is high. 50 is on the high side, right? Most of the time it's 10, 15, 20. Okay, why is it when you have a webinar that all of a sudden, I'm going to teach everybody how to use this software, but I'm going to have 1,500 people come to it? Why are we doing that? And that's why people aren't engaged. You can't do that. You can't check in with 1,500 people to make sure they're learning how to use Excel.
Just because you can have 1,500 people watch you do it doesn't mean you should.
That's right. Because you can doesn't mean you should. That doesn't mean you can't do a great presentation that people learn from and that they're inspired by. When I wrote my book, I wrote a book on this a couple of years ago. And in fact, Jo Cook, she helped me. She put an activity in there. So shout out to Miss Jo. When I wrote the book, I was wanting to write activities, which I want to show you today, some activities that engage people online. And what ended up happening is I needed to define the difference between, or differentiate between, a webinar and virtual classroom. And a webinar for me is anything more than 20. And learning objectives that are going to be like knowledge comprehension level learning objectives. So I can still teach people things, but I'm not going to be assessing skill and having people collaborate when I've got hundreds of people there. Right. And so it's not that those large audiences can't be effective, but if you're trying to teach people skills, why are we having so many people there? And is that the best thing to do? And maybe that's why people aren't engaged.
Yeah, I think the terminology is confusing too, because somebody did mention the word webinar, and I don't feel like whenever I hear about a webinar, I just assume I'm just going to be presented to, and I will have an opportunity to ask questions at the end. I don't ever think of a webinar as training. Yeah,
exactly. And when I wrote my book, I said, look, we have meetings, we have webinars, we have training. And so let's make webinars great. We can do that. And let's differentiate that from what we do in virtual classroom. And so why don't I show you some stuff today with what I do in virtual classroom to engage people and to make it something, again, that people want to do. You guys in? None of this, look. These are all the reasons why people hate it, right?
Yeah, we're all in. Yeah, I think we should be the ones helping people to define the difference between a webinar and a virtual classroom session or a virtual online classroom session or whatever the term ends up being for us. It needs to be different. But if all we do is present like you would in a webinar, then that kind of dilutes the new phrase and people don't learn that way. So this is great. Let's show people how we can make an interactive, engaging session.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what the title of my book is. Isn't that funny? Interact and engage. Worked out. Think about a conference too. Like I'm going to be in San Diego next week, and you have the keynotes, and they're going to be everybody there, and it's going to be inspiring, and those people better be great speakers, right? And then you have all the breakout sessions where you're hoping you're going to go learn and get some hands-on time and be able to collaborate with other people. And so maybe that's what webinar and virtual classroom is like as well. And you know what? In all the organizations that I've worked with, I understand your frustration because you're defining it, and the terminology is confusing. And we're defining it, and we're having to define the experience that we want. So here's my 3 things, and we're going to reveal the big secret before I leave. But here's the 3 things I always think that we need to do, and that I always make a point of doing. Number 1, we need to be in the environment and teach people to be in the environment with us because they don't know how to be here. Number 2, we need to master the technology so that we can get over it. And then 3, we have to have activities rather than content, right? There's lots of content out there. Let's have activities with it. And so let's talk first about teaching people to be in the environment. Look at this guy. He's like your average attendee, right? Like he's on a cell phone. He's going to get a crick in his neck. His place is a mess. What else is wrong? Is my slide not showing anymore, Brent?
It just didn't change. I still have the old one of the what is the virtual classroom slide up.
All right. Come back, slides.
There we go.
Is that back? Is the guy there now?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for telling me in the chat, you guys. People are here. I don't know. Watch the chat. So, this guy doesn't know how, this is like your average attendant. Nobody knows how to be here. And so let me ask you this. When did you learn how to learn in a classroom? Like when did you guys learn when you should go into how to be in a corporate training environment? When you were 5, that's right, Joe. When you were
preschool, yeah.
Exactly. See, someone taught you. My son, when he was little, I showed him, this is how we walk through the door. This is where we hang our coat. This is where we choose a seat, and then he cried, right? So
when the parents leave, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, my kid was like, "You're still here." He didn't cry. I cried. When did we ever learn to learn online?
Yeah.
And so don't know how, and we have to teach them. And so here's how I teach people. Whenever I open up any program, my latest name is, I call it a sneak peek. I go, let's have a sneak peek of how we're going to communicate our whole time together. Whether that's just one session or if we're going to be together for like a series of sessions. I do a sneak peek, which also functions as introductory exercises. And I go, hey guys, we're going to be communicating on audio, and here's how you do it. Hang up your phone, call back in, mute, unmute yourself. This is how it works. And we do it. And then I go, and we're going to communicate using chat. So tell me, why did you sign up for this program? Type it in the chat. And, and then I go private chat and I show them how to use it. And then it's within context of what we're learning. And then I go, and we're going to do whiteboard tools if I've got them. I base sneak peek off of whatever features are in the tool.
Yeah.
And I show them how to be in the environment. And then I do it through introductory activity. Like this one is, tell me something about yourself in some way. And I make it up depending on the class that I'm teaching. Right. So Ravi, you're right. We haven't been taught how to be here. And so we teach how to be here, and you do it in an active way using all the features.
I think it's such a great point. It's such a strong point because you're right. We don't really, and it seems kind of obvious, right? It's one of those things where it's like, well, yeah, and when you think about it now, yeah, we've been trained to sit in a classroom since we were little kids. The school system taught us that, but nobody has taught us how to function in a virtual environment with the technology being so new. So yeah, it makes perfect sense.
I know a lot of times when I'm presenting in person, you guys, I have a co-presenter and he's also my co-author, Tom Stone. What he'll do is he'll demonstrate like not knowing how to sit down in the chair, and he'll lay on the chair. And he's like, who's going to show me how to sit in the chair? I'm like, so weird. It's so weird. And so we have to teach people how to be here. And then look what happens when they know how to be here. They're going nuts. Now I have a different problem. I've got everyone's on camera, everyone's talking, everyone's pointing, everyone's whiteboarding, everyone's chatting. And now I have this different problem of having to manage too much interaction, which is super fun, actually.
Yeah, I think that can seem overwhelming and a bit chaotic, but I'd much rather have that problem than, like, I think helping to guide people through that process is a lot easier than trying to pull them into it and to get them to do it.
Yeah, it's a much better problem. And I'm constantly showing you how to be here, and I'm modeling it. So everything that I'm asking you to do, I do. I send chats. I raise my hand. I'm on the whiteboard. And if you're not on, I'm calling you out. Because remember, I have less than 20 people here. So I'm like, Brent, hey, where's your whiteboard answer, Brent? What's up? And then Brent tries to talk, and I go, hey, Brent, before you talk, type your answer on the whiteboard. You know? And then you're like, oh, I better use the whiteboard next time, or she's going to call me out.
I think I'm finally getting it.
Yeah, it's like you're constantly guiding. Are you guys seeing my screen now, Brent, with the pictures and the webcams?
Yeah, the one we're looking at. Oh no, actually, the one that's up right now is the 1, 2, 3.
Oh, where is it? How come it's not?
Oh, now okay, now the other one's up. Okay, good.
You've got this, and then here's the big screenshot of me and WebEx and it going crazy. Yep. Can you see it now?
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
You know, and this guy have a whole other problem. It's fun. All right, and so let's move into, I think I saw a chat. You got to chat it again if I missed it, okay? And if I miss any questions, you guys, there's a lot going on here. Brent, help me if I'm missing any questions.
Yeah, we do have a question about the tech, but I think let's save that to the end.
Okay, yeah, maybe I will. So it might come up right now too, because here's the thing. For me to be able to teach you to be here, I need to know how to be here. And so I've got to master the technology, and then I have to get over it. Like, it can't be like, hi, everybody, we're in Crowdcast today. Isn't that great that there's chat? Thanks for your chat. Like, if I act like that, you're like, wait, no, we're here with Brent, and we're here with Luis, and we're here with everybody that we're connecting with every day, right?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm so thankful for all of you. Whenever I'm in like a kind of grumpy mood, I remember all of you, and it comes through my email, Brent, that you guys are going live, and I sign in, and then I feel all invigorated again because I'm part of this community. And I just wanted to thank you for having it here and for allowing me to be in it.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, no, we love it too. We wouldn't do it if we didn't enjoy having everybody be a part of it. So it's a great
cool
for all of us.
But like, we're not here because of Crowdcast. We're here because of all of you. And so it's the same thing in virtual classroom. We're not here because of Adobe Connect or Zoom or whatever you're using. I mean, technically we are connected because of that, but it's not usually why people came.
Right.
And so that's what I mean by we got to master it, but then you got to let it go.
Yeah.
It's got to be
transparent at a certain point. It's just got to feel natural, and sort of the interface has to sort of disappear, and it just has to become what you do.
And the only way you can do that is by clicking on everything, trying to break it. You have to use it all the time. Yeah. In fact, look, I love this too, because, you know, the technology doesn't engage. I love this right here when she actually sang with her papa, but it was the hologram of her papa. Right?
Yeah.
This is and Nat King Cole. I mean, nobody was going, oh, cool. The hologram technology is so cool. Right?
Yeah.
The initial thing that you had was the emotional reaction of the two of them singing together. And then you went, oh, and they used hologram. That's kind of cool. Right? Yeah. So it's like, how do you then do that? Like, if you have Adobe Connect or WebEx, I'm constantly having parties. Jackie knows this because we used to work together. This is a retirement party screenshot. Is that coming up?
No, we're still on the other one.
On Nat King Cole?
No, we're not even. I missed the Nat King Cole one. I'm still on the screen of you in WebEx, the chaos.
Oh, the screens aren't even moving this whole time?
Now we're on the best wishes, Sue.
So what do I need to do to make this the slides continue to stay up there?
It doesn't refresh when you go full screen like that, and you just have to like whatever you're doing to switch back and forth in order. Okay, now it just switched.
So you guys aren't psychic. Did you see this one? Did you see this one?
No, we didn't see that one yet.
Okay, so this is where I was like, we got to master it and then get over it, and then you got to click on everything, and then look at this is so cool when we saw Nat King Cole singing with Natalie.
Got it. Now we're caught up, and now the slides are changing, so it's good.
Okay, I'm not going to touch anything. I'm just looking at the screen. So look, here's best wishes, Sue. This is a retirement party for Sue, and we made her get on webcam. So I made that slide so that we set the webcam right in the middle, and then we all came on and we were like telling stories about her because she retired and what we loved about her. And you know, it was like, yeah, we were in Adobe, but we were having a party because it helps us all be more comfortable there. And plus, it was all about Sue. That's
awesome. I love that idea, especially if you have if you have a group of folks that need to get involved in the tool and to have more practice at it, no better reason than to try to make it fun and give them a reason to get into it that isn't as stressful.
Right. It's so true. Are you guys seeing only Nat King Cole again?
Yeah.
What do I need to do to refresh it? See, this is where I need to master this technology.
Yeah. Now we're back at Best Wishes, Sue.
Okay. Now are you
now
on this one?
Celebrations. Yep. We're good.
Okay, we need to have a party. I'm going to invite you guys to parties because Joe's like, wait a second. Okay, look at this one, guys. This was a surprise baby shower for Karen. And so again, this is people I worked with. And we got onto a whiteboard and we were having people do these games. Like, look at this game here. Is concentration coming up, Brent?
Yep.
Okay, so if anybody's been to any kind of baby shower, and sorry if the guys haven't been to one, but look, memorize everything here, even if you don't know what it is. Is it coming up?
Yeah. Oh,
okay, memorize it. And then you give people like a certain amount of time on a PowerPoint slide. And then look, you make them whiteboard what they remember seeing.
Oh, that is awesome.
You know, it's like the way that I mastered the technology was by using it in like fun and informal settings. So that when it came time for me to be formal, I wasn't as afraid of it.
Yeah.
You know, the way to become formal is to make it be normal, if you will.
Yeah. Wow, that's a great quote. There's the quote of the day.
That's the quote of the day. I'm out. All right. Okay, so you're teaching people how to be in the environment. You yourself are mastering the technology by using it all the time. And then, you know what? Instead of designing content, let's design activities. What are they going to do with that content? Because if they've got something to do, then they're engaged. Right? My slides showing are we back on the 3?
Yeah, we're on the 1, 2, 3 right now.
Okay, so we have to make activities for the people and about the people because that's why they're here. I mean, it's just boring. Content can be boring, right? Unless it's amazing, but by itself, it's like what we do with it that makes it exciting. And because I worked at Dale Carnegie for so long, I just love this. I mean, if you want to engage people in virtual classroom, then let them be part of the world that they are in. You know, teach them to be in it, let them use the tech, and then create activities that are for them and about them and all about what they need to do with it. And then they're going to be all in, right? How can they not? Because it's for them and about them, right? Isn't that cool? How do you do that, though?
Yeah, there you go. There's that. That's, I know somebody was going to ask it, so we could just jump right in.
How do you do it? Okay, well, so instead of me just being like, here's what we learned on a PowerPoint slide, I go, what did you learn? You type it on the slide.
Ah.
And then I go, we just did this thing. Like this is a PowerPoint slide where they go into a breakout at like, I send them into work in small groups after like a segment of learning. And I go, what did you just learn? And then number 2, where will you use it in your life? And they're whiteboarding those answers. And then they're going to bring them back and they're going to tell each other what they learned. So it's not about me, right? It's about you. I showed you some stuff, but what are you going to do with it? And then I listen and I can coach and guide and learn from them too. Simple, right? Still working?
I'm just trying to make sure I'm letting everybody know I'm working on my side. So.
All right. Do you guys have my slide still? It's okay. Yeah, you do.
The one that says use. Oh, now I'm back at control. Oh, now I'm at use.
There you go. You're on the use slide.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's another one. Look. So instead of just bringing up a poll, have them commit to what are they going to do. So my PowerPoint slide in this case, look at it. It had a whole bunch of like leading practices of what they can do to train online. And we had a discussion around the slide on what was on there. They asked questions on how they do that. And I showed examples. And once we were done with that conversation, I brought up a poll and I said, which 2 are you going to learn to implement right away? And then I'm like, why'd you choose those 2? And, you know, how can I help you? How can I support you through that? Good stuff, right? What do you think?
Yeah, it's a good. I was just reading all of them, and it's interesting to see what popped up as the top ones. Right? Creating opportunities for hands-on practice was very popular.
For this group, it was.
Yeah, and provide small group problem solving activities. I think that would be for most. I think that's the part where where they do get hung up on this, right? The presenting really isn't the hard part. It's what type of activities can I do in a virtual space, and how can I be creative and do fun things? And, to your point, if you don't practice doing the fun things, you're not going to have any idea of what can be possible in order to build those. So you just need to sort of experience, I think, other people doing fun activities, practice those yourselves. And I think the more you get engaged that way, right? The more you experience what other people are doing, the more you can riff off of that and then start to build your own, because you have to know what's possible first before you can start creating stuff.
Yeah. And you know what? You're exactly right. And it's like, you have to know how to use the tool. People need to know how to use the tool. They can't just sit and listen, right? Virtual classroom is not sitting and listening.
Yep.
Webinars are. So how do then how do I do what I do in person using the features here? So here I want to gain commitment. I want people to commit to action. And so I'm going to bring up a poll and say, these are the actions we've just gone through that you comprehend and that you understand, I think, right? But I really don't know that until you try it. And so which two are you going to try? And how do I then be there as a coach for you to help you try that? And you better believe too, I'm going to build in activities throughout the remainder of the program that says, hey, look, we're going to do a small group problem solving activity and you're going to help me run it. And I let them try it, And so I'm helping them all along the way. And so it's like looking at what I do in person and then bringing that into this environment and saying, how can I let you do it? How can I let you do it too?
Yeah, it's great. I was just reading in the chat here some of the comments in it, and John brings up the breakout groups and the breakout rooms, and I just kind of connected that thought with what you said earlier. When you were saying, if you've got a small number of people, you talk to people, use their names, and you call them out and say, I didn't see you on the whiteboard, Brent. How come you're not, you didn't do the activity? It's, if you like those smaller groups and that makes it more engaging, do you think the breakout sessions and the breakout rooms give you that ability to do more people at one time and do that? Or what's your thought on that?
No, breakout is just small group. So if my platform has it, which of course I always prefer it to have it, then I'm going to use it. I'm going to let people work in small groups based on objectives and if it makes sense for them to do that. All features have the potential, in my opinion, to be valid, even whiteboards, even chats, even polls, if I make it about you and for you and let you talk about it and work through it. I mean, you don't necessarily need me to present to you. You need portions of that, but mostly you need to know what to do with it if we're in a learning event, right?
Yep.
Like this example here, this is another example of activities and letting that be about them and for them. This is a knowledge check where we've gone through the program and I'm going to let people make their own connections. And so in this example, this is new insurance agents learning about the products at the company. And so then the job of the attendee in the program that day is to pick a picture from the first column, one from the second, and one from the third. That's your client that just walked through the door. Which insurance package is best for them, you think? And so I have them like point to, look, there's the family in the top left. They came in, they have that little cute yellow car, and they live on the beach. And so what package would be most appropriate to offer to them? Cool, right?
Yeah.
You guys want to try it? Can we get someone, Brent, to come look? What connections are you guys making today? Look at, here's your pictures. I threw in two that weren't exact, or one that wasn't part of our class. So making connections is so fun. Brent, I hope you don't mind I stole your picture.
No, do it. It's good.
So let's see if we can get one volunteer to come on the audio today. And one of these is not like the other. That's right. What I did is I picked pictures and people from our program today. And then I threw in a wild card. And your assignment is to tell the story of what you've learned so far today through these images and just connect each image one time. Who can't wait?
Who wants to jump in, and I'll send you an invite? And you don't, I will bring you in, but you don't have to be on video. You can be audio only. So
Well,
in the chat is just say yes, or I'll jump in or something like that. And then I'll send you an invite.
yeah, we need one person. I'll give you an example of what you're going to do. Okay. You're just going to do it on the audio. You're going to tell a story of what you've learned today, connecting these images at least once. So for example, so there I was miserable because I had to do yet another online training. But then I came in and I saw Brent's smiling face and I knew all was going to be okay because, well, he gathered all these cool people together, the Joes and the Cindys, and he brought us together to talk about how we can make virtual classroom turn around and be something like a bunch of cupcakes if we just click on everything. And I learned a whole bunch of stuff about how I can click on everything and make it all better. And now my class is going to be like a cupcake every single time. Anybody going to do it? Am I going to get literally no volunteers? There's 144 people here and no volunteers. Really?
Yeah, I think somebody was checking their email.
You know what this goes to, Brent, actually? Like when I do this, what happens in the beginning of virtual class is that everyone's on audio in the beginning. We do introductory activities that help sort of make it a safe learning environment, make it comfortable. You know, here for us today, it's super comfortable to be on chat and it's really comfortable for them to see me and you, but we haven't practiced up into this point, everybody talking.
Yeah.
And so call on someone and take a risk to do this feels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so really what I need to do is make sure everyone's audio before I call on someone like this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Myra. How are you?
Good. I'm calling in for my case.
Yay, Myra. Go, Myra. You guys clap for Myra, even if she can't hear it. Yay.
All right, guys. So I figured I'm going to do this just before I have to run. So I thank you so much for sharing this. I think this was really fantastic, Kassy. So let me see if I can get to this. So the story that I'm going to tell here, as far as like what I learned today and what I'm taking away, is that, you know, Brent showed up with his fabulous tie today, and it's another manic Monday. And so we're all trying to figure out how we're going to start our week and trying to figure out like how can we get our learners to really get engaged in our virtual training. And so, you know, we have to really sit down and click around our technology and really get our learners clicking around that technology also before we go live, to really get them engaged and feeling comfortable with the technology and ourselves being comfortable with it also. And then, you know, so then it's cake when it's time to present, right? So it's easy and we, you know, we kind of just go with it and everyone's engaged and, you know, look at the chat going, yay!
Oh, you guys give her a bunch of cake. Go cake.
Yeah.
Virtual training. That's a shout out to Trish Yule, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Nice job, Myra. Thank you.
Myra, thank you so much. You've just won the prize of pride. You can be most proud of yourself today.
All right, guys.
All right. Thanks, Myra.
Thank you. So cool.
Bye.
Look at that. You know, it's like if you let it be about people and for people, it's amazing what happens because then I become not nervous to be here.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing, you know, you guys. And so what's the big secret to all of this? What's the secret, you guys?
Who knows the secret?
Have a Myra in every program. That's the secret. Kara knows the secret. Look, Kara got it. Winner. The secret is you. And it's the choices you make and the things that you do. The way that you choose to learn. I have this whole little sentence, you can't see it. You choosing to learn the technology, you helping people be in the environment and encourage them all along. And then you building activities. And the next thing you know, it's really engaging to be here and you get to be from home. You know, and here's where I'm like, share with a neighbor. What are you going to do? You guys, what are you going to do the next time you're in your virtual class? You know, use the audio, use the chat, use the whiteboard, and you're going to have to help them all use it. They're not going to know how, and you're going to be guiding them along. It's going to feel like after lunch every single day. Come on, everybody. You can do it, right? And you're going to master the technology by having all of your future phone calls be virtual too. Like the next time you call your mom or your dad, brother or sister, you're going to be in a WebEx also, right? And then you're not.
I was just going to say, I think the unfortunate mistake is that we do have a tendency to know and learn these things. So from a session like today, and then we say to ourselves, I'm definitely going to implement that the next time I do a training session. And it's like, no, don't wait for the training session. You need some practice, just like we teach all of the people that we teach. You should practice this. So just fire up a WebEx session first. Practice it yourself. Go in, click on everything, do it. Then invite some people and do it again with you teaching them how to do what you just did. Until you get really good at it, then implement it in your next live training session.
Exactly. And do it like, with your friends, like we do as we're meeting, let's have this time together be part of what I also have to use every day when I'm doing training. It just becomes so much easier. And then we don't need to design lecture. We can design activities. And hey guys, if you want some platform checklists, I've made some for WebEx, for Adobe, for GoToTraining. You can download them. I'll put the link over there in a second in the chat. But you can go
say that would be fantastic, because we've got about 2-3 minutes left before we decided we were going to try to cut these things off at a quarter till to give people a break before the next one starts. But we do have some great questions in the Q&A, and I think you'll be able to answer these very quickly or point us to a resource. So first question was, what virtual ILT software and tools would you recommend?
So when you look at my platform checklist, I really like breakouts, and whiteboards are my favorite. I have to have audio and I have to have chat. So breakout, whiteboard, chat, and audio are my favorites. I don't care about polling too much. I use it because I have to, but I don't care. Oh, and I love raise hand and smiley faces too.
Cool.
Whatever I need to do with those features.
Yeah, awesome. And then there is, are there some topics or themes that render themselves better for virtual instructor-led training?
I think that's a difficult question to answer blanket statement. I think that what you need to do is look at your specific objectives and whether your objectives are actionable. And then are they actionable in this type of environment with the features available to you? So for example, if I was learning how to drive, I can't drive the car in WebEx. However, I could learn about laws and rules and all sorts of things that also are part of me learning how to drive, right?
Yeah.
But the actual car, that objective requires the physical car and the road. So those kind of things are kind of weird virtually, but that's not to say that you can't create a blended learning solution for them.
Right. What's the recommended maximum time for a virtual instructor-led training session?
Again, that goes to your objectives. The busier that people are, the longer they will stay with you. People like an hour. I have great success with 2 and 3 hours all the time. But you have to be very, very busy the longer people go. And give them breaks, break for lunch. But again, that's answered best by your objectives and what you're having people do. Got it.
The point about clicking around the technology is great, but what about accessibility?
Do you mean like for people who have disabilities, those kind of things where they can't see or they cannot hear?
I think that's what you're referencing, right, Kara?
I mean, that,
yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that's like, I mean, this is an environment that requires you to be able to see and to hear. And so I think you're looking at different technical solutions based on the accessibility needs. And so that's like a pretty complicated question, Kara, that we probably have to go, dive deep in when we're looking at the specific needs of people.
I think that also falls under knowing your audience, right? I think if you know your audience, especially if you keep your groups small in your training sessions, you should know if somebody is there that is communicating or using the tool via other hardware that's been set up for those with, that need extra accessibility requirements.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And like, how are we going to manage for each person? Like these portions are done like this. But certainly it's a very auditive environment. But there's just things that are going to change based on what people need. So you have to deal with it like you said, Brent, knowing your audience. Exactly.
Yeah, it's good. Well, awesome. This has been great, Kassy. Thank you so much for being our first kickoff guest for the virtual instructor-led training playlist. We really appreciate it.
I know. Well, thank you for having me. And you guys, coming up next is Jo Cook, the amazing Jo Cook. And she's going to go into instructional design and facilitation and some even specific strategies around putting all these things together. And then we have who's coming up. Cynthia Clay's coming up after that, and she's got some brain-based stuff on what engages people and what you can do about it here. I love that. And then Cindy Huggett, she did some research over the last couple of years on what's trending and what we can expect for the future and what companies are doing. So all kinds of stuff lined up for you today. And I'm excited for you. And maybe, hey, if any of you are in San Diego next week, I know, Brent, you're going to be there. We should make a point of like connecting somehow. It'd be so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Did we drop in all the appropriate links and all of that into the chat that you wanted to share?
Yeah, actually I did. I put the free stuff one in there. And I'm building a new website, you guys. I'm going to have a new website here pretty soon. It'll be better than this one, but for now you can go there.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just wanted people to be able to get in touch with you if they wanted to connect offline or later, for sure.
Yeah, cool. You guys have fun with your other presenters today, and thank you again for having me here today. I'm excited, and again, Brent, thank you for all that you guys do, all of you, Brent, Luis, and the whole gang, for bringing these together for us. It's so encouraging and inspirational too.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah, again, this will be great. So I'm looking forward to ATD next week, and we'll see everybody and get to see everybody face to face. So it'll be fun.
Great. Awesome.
Thanks again, Kassy. I'm going to close out your video. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye.
And I'll close this out too. Hey, everybody. So this is the way it's going to roll as we close up. Thanks again so much to Kassy for kicking us off for this virtual instructor-led training classroom playlist. All the different terms that we call this stuff. We're going to try to end at the 45-minute mark. Of course, I'm going a little bit long, but this will give everybody a chance to take a quick break, grab yourself a cup of coffee, bio break, whatever you need right now for the next 10 minutes. At the top of the hour, we will be starting our next playlist option, playlist session. I don't know what we call an individual, the playlist song, maybe? I'm not sure. Gonna have to work on that ourselves. But anyways, be back here at the top of the hour because we do have our next fantastic guest joining us, and it is the wonderful and amazing Joe Cook. So you definitely do not want to miss it. So take a quick break if you need one, but do not get distracted because we will be back. Thanks, everybody.
You are so cool.